Demaryius Thomas, he is gone, but will never be forgotten. And the Denver Broncos are going to make sure of that by inducting DT into the Broncos Ring of Fame this fall. And it got me to thinking, who else on DT's teams could be on their way to the Ring of Fame? We're going to kick that around in 5 seconds. So before we dive deep into who else could be on their way in the Ring of Fame for the Denver Broncos, I want to talk a little bit about Demaryius Thomas, and I want to share a couple of stories about Demaryius Thomas. First of all, kudos to the Denver Broncos. First ballot. Now, I know it's not to the level of Hall of Fame, but there's plenty of players that have been argued for, argued against, that ultimately did or did not get into the Broncos Ring of Fame. It is a great job by the folks down there at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit, to get this thing done. No debates, no nonsense. October 17th, it's time to celebrate and honor the life and the player that Demaryius Thomas was. That's what it's going to be. Alumni weekend, October 17th to the 19th. The 19th is where the game will be against the Giants, and that's when they'll unveil 88, Demaryius Thomas there in the Ring of Fame. It's absolutely outstanding. We were just talking about it on the radio show. Go and listen to the Fan 10 to 4. Cecil and I love to have fun and hear from folks in the tribe. That's what we call the crew. We're just talking about Demaryius, man, and the fact that he's from Georgia Tech, right? A place that doesn't even throw the football, and still got drafted where he was and still was the NFL wide receiver that he was. When you play Madden, right, and we all play Madden, and you do the create a character, create a player. If you were to create a wide receiver, the body, the skills, it would be Demaryius Thomas. The dude had a perfect NFL wide receiver frame. Strong, big, lengthy enough, speed, athleticism, could run any route on the route tree, could shake any defender in the entire NFL. He was the perfect model for NFL wide receiver. So putting him in the Ring of Fame was a no-brainer, and the Broncos did it again. Another home run by the front office and doing what they should do. Common sense isn't that common in professional sports, but this is the Broncos showing that they have common sense and are doing something the right way. A quick story about Demaryius. And now this is early in my media career. And Demaryius actually came into the NFL the same year I came into Denver media. So, I'm a new media guy with a badge, and I'm just excited that I got a credential and I get to go down and be at things. And, he'd give me some time from time to time when I'd ask a question and then send it to the radio station I was working for to get sound. But there was one night where some of you may know the name Peter Burns. He works for the SEC network now, and he's a big staple in my media life of getting me to the places that I've been. Shout out to you, Burnsy. Burns invited me to Jesse Decker's album release party. That's Eric Decker's wife. And they might have just been boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. But again, I'm a year into media. I knew I didn't belong there. I was embarrassed to even go. I was a broke boy, and I'm like, do I even own slacks? What am I going to wear to this thing? So I go there. Burnsy ditches me immediately because he's cooler than me and he knows people. So I'm just like standing there twiddling my thumbs like, should I leave right now? I definitely don't have money for a cab. I guess I'll just stay here until Burns is ready. And in walks Demaryius Thomas. And like I said, we were both new guys on the scene, and we had talked a couple of times, and he had no business or reason to come over and do what he did. But he came over to me and he said, like what we're all thinking, what are you doing here? How did you get invited here? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel out of place. This just doesn't feel right. I'm probably going to leave sooner rather than later. And Demaryius literally says, no, you're not going anywhere. Just follow me around. I know it might feel weird, but follow me around the rest of the night. I'll just tell him you're my buddy, and you'll get to meet some cool people. And that's exactly what I did. I followed Demaryius Thomas around like a little lost puppy dog, not knowing where the heck home was. And he made it a great night. And he just treated me with respect and was a human being to me. And a lot of athletes don't have that quality. It was outstanding, and we had established a little bit of a relationship at that point. Now, I'm not Mr. Media guy that says he's friends or wants to be friends with these guys. I have a job to do, and I think friendships being built jades me to do that job. So I try not to do that a lot. This was kind of by default. And then Demaryius, so that's first year, right? Fast forward to final year with Demaryius. It's his last camp, and he's not doing a lot because he's recovering from an off-season injury. And I'm up there at the podium, and I've got my phone out, and I'm recording whoever the coach was at the time. I don't even remember. And Demaryius comes up from behind me and says like, hey, take a selfie. So turn my camera around, we take a quick selfie. And then he's doing his best to throw me off my game. Like saying stuff you'd say to your boy to mess with him a little bit, throw him off the game that I probably shouldn't say on the company's YouTube page, but you understand what I'm getting at here. And, I'm literally like elbow. I'm like, dude, stop, DT, stop. I'm working here. And he just thought it was hilarious that he was messing with me at work. So that's the kind of guy that he is. To me, some loser in the media, treating me with respect and common courtesy. And those are two things that this world lacks and has for a very long time. So the soul that was Demaryius was a good one, in and out, through and through. So thank you to the Denver Broncos for doing it. And thank you to Demaryius for just treating me with some respect and kind of let me tag along and be just a second wheel at the Jesse Decker album release party. So very cool moments. Can't wait to get to that game, hear what his mom and family has to say, and all of us honor Demaryius Thomas. But like I said, it got me to thinking about a couple things. Who else from Demaryius' Super Bowl 50 team will be up in the Ring of Fame at some point? Well, Von Miller's a no-brainer, right? Von's going in. It's going to be a first ballot for the Hall of Fame and the Ring of Fame for Von Miller. Who else from that team goes? The next name that jumps to my mind is actually Chris Harris Jr. Undrafted, homegrown, went from this guy's just a training camp body. Let's see what we can figure out at the end of camp, to making the roster, becoming a starter, becoming a Pro Bowler, becoming an All-Pro, and then being a key cog to the Denver Broncos winning Super Bowl 50. If Chris Harris isn't a Ring of Famer, what the heck do you have to do to get into the Ring of Fame? Aqib Talib is another name that comes to mind. Aqib Talib is a guy that is the other end of that no-fly zone, right? We remember the Captain Insano with the eye poke, the chain grab, all the things that Aqib brought to the table. He could be a little crazy. Hell, in his Broncos time, he shot himself in the butt. That's how crazy Aqib Talib can be. But on the football field, that dude was a beast and a monster. I'm not going to give you a ton of pushback. I don't need to have a 4-hour debate with you about Aqib Talib going in. But if I were deciding, Aqib would be in the Ring of Fame. Who else from that team? Cecil from the radio show, Cecil and Dover, 10-2 on the Fan, as I mentioned. He mentioned Derrick Wolf. I like Derrick Wolf. I think Derrick Wolf took a team-friendly discount and probably regrets that so that the team could pay Vaughn. But I don't know, man. Derrick Wolf's an interior defensive lineman. The stats don't necessarily add up. Now, that wasn't Derrick's job. Derrick's job was to take on double teams so guys like Vaughn and DeMarcus could eat, and Shaq Barrett at times could eat, and Derrick was outstanding at that. So don't get that twisted. But does that earn you Ring of Fame? I'm not quite sure it does. Excuse me. So who else from Super Bowl 50? Obviously, Peyton will be on there. Quick shout out to my dude, Kevin Kistner. He brought up the name Gary Kubiak. Does Kubes deserve Broncos Ring of Fame? I'd probably make the argument that he does. For backup quarterback, a coach on the staff for all those years, and then ultimately getting the head coaching job, and he was the coach of Super Bowl 50. So I'd go Gary Kubiak on that list as well. Emmanuel Sanders was brought up. My first response is, no. He's not a Ring of Famer. He was really good in the short amount of time he was here and was a part of Super Bowl 50, right? And remember, he got in a fight with Cortland Sutton. He made up excuses to try to get out of work a couple times. I think Emmanuel Sanders was a very good Denver Bronco. I don't know that he is a Ring of Famer. But again, Broncos country, circle back and tell me in the comments if I'm wrong or you like any of these other names. And then the last question I'll ask you is the guys right now on the roster that's going to play this fall. Who on that squad has the potential to be a Ring of Famer? Because I actually think it's only two with some, maybes on the back end of that. And the two, you're yelling at the TV on the first one, right? It's Patrick Surtain. He's a no-brainer, no doubt, first ballot Ring of Famer. Probably the same case for Hall of Fame when it comes to Patrick Surtain. But how about Garrett Bowles? Is Bowlesy? Is he all up in his GB zone? Does the GB zone take you to the Ring of Fame? I actually think right now, yes, he is a Ring of Famer. If he doesn't play another down, he is a Ring of Famer. He's going into his 9th year, so he's got 8 years of service. So you tell me, does this qualify you to be a Ring of Famer for any team in the National Football League? Drafted top 20, starter from day one, barely misses any football games, does have the one All-Pro, gets better every single year, even as he ages, gets better every single year. Oh, and by the way, you play the second most important position on offense, left tackle. He protected Peyton Manning and did a pretty damn good job doing so. So PS2 and Garrett Bowles, they're Ring of Famers. They're Ring of Famers right now for the Denver Broncos. The names like Bo Nix, obviously, you'd love to see Bo Nix in the Ring of Fame, but he obviously has a lot more work to do. Successful in year one. Let's see what year two brings. I believe he's going to get better year by year, just like I talked about with Garrett Bowles. And then another name that I think is interesting that's not there yet, but with some team success and numbers that I believe he's going to put up over the next couple of years. What about Courtland Sutton? Would Sutton be a part of this conversation, or does he have to have some significant impact moments in the playoffs before he becomes a Ring of Famer? Those are a few of the names I like. Broncos country, you tell me. Circle back in the comics while you're there. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I'll try to get back and respond to a few of those. But if I missed a name or you completely disagree with the name, that's okay too. We don't have to agree on everything. That would make for a boring world if we agreed on everything. Hit me up there on the comments. And like I said, like and subscribe to everything else we got going on right here on Denver Sports YouTube. This has been Dover on Denver, and now I'm done.